Hey guys, so what if I told you that I could improve your children's credit from the age of 13 through someone else's perfect credit? Yeah, if you want to know how, keep watching this video. Okay guys, so what is piggybacking? So piggybacking, which is also known as authorized users, you normally see this feature on your credit card app. So if you go into your credit card app, you'll have a section that says authorized card users. That is a little loophole not many people and not credit agencies will tell you about. Okay guys, so I'm going to explain to you guys what piggybacking is and the history and how it came about. So a few years back, when women weren't allowed to work and they were stay-at-home moms and basically didn't have the opportunity to work, and men did all the working, did all the credit, improving their credit, women weren't allowed. And then when the laws changed and women were now allowed to finally, work and improve their own credit and be financially and independent and stuff like that, when a lot of women went out into the world, they realized when they tried to get any loans and mortgages that they couldn't, because they hadn't actually built a good credit history, and all the credit history was with their spouses. So when you're married, you do a lot of the things together, you pay the bills together, you pay the utilities, and women, even though they weren't working, they facilitated with all of that. They made sure the bills were paid on time while the men went out to work and fend for the family. So isn't it right to say, then that women should be entitled to the same credit that their husband had? So this is where this piggybacking authorized user law came into place. So when women then got their own rights and realized that they had to start again from scratch, the law came, obviously there was a precedent that was set that allowed women to be added as second users on credit cards in order for them to piggyback or basically benefit from their spouse's credit. So in turn, if the husband or the person's credit was really good, that credit would show on the wife's credit file, even though she hasn't physically, obviously, had the card in her name initially. So that's where this authorized card user thing came from. And this is where you can find the loophole to how you can actually improve your own credit. So fast forward, modern day, how can piggybacking help you? Now, on your credit card, you have a feature that says authorized users. This allows you as a credit card holder to add other people to your card so they can actually use it and have access and gain access to using it. Okay, so if I have really good credit, let me give you an example. If I have really good credit, and say my spouse, my friend, or my brother, my sister hasn't got any credit at all, and I want to help boost their credit, what I would do is I'll go to my bank, ask that this person, my sister, my brother, my cousin, my wife, might be added onto my card as an authorized user. What would then happen is the bank would then send that person the card to my address, and then that person can also in turn use the card and have the added benefits of piggybacking off my good credit. So that's basically the background behind it. Like, I'll give you another simple example that maybe you guys might understand. Car insurance. With car insurance, as a new driver, if you go and get car insurance by yourself, the insurance is ridiculous. I remember when I tried to go get car insurance, when I first passed, it was showing up as $4,000, $3,000 for just a basic course up. Do you know what I mean? Or a basic old 15-year-old car, like literally. So what I then did was add my mom as a named driver on my policy, and because of my mom's 15 to 20 years no claims, it helped my insurance go down. So it's the same concept with the whole piggybacking or authorized users. By being added onto someone with good credit, it literally makes your life easier. Their credit file basically then reflects onto yours, and then your credit limit amount also obviously increases based on this other person's. So that is literally how you could increase your credit fast by just being added as a second user on someone else's card. Okay guys, so we're now going to do the pros and cons of piggybacking or authorized users. Okay, if you're going to use this method, it's important, guys, that you use someone that's trustworthy, someone you can trust. Do you know what I mean? Someone that has got a good history, long history of having good credit, of knowing what to do, the steps, you know what I mean? Just someone that's trustworthy, okay? On top of this, the other question I'm always asked is, who can I add as an authorized user? Like, who can be added on? You can use this with family, friends, spouses, husbands, all of that stuff, boyfriends. If you trust them, you need to make sure the person's got a long history of good credit. You need to make sure they pay on time, they do everything I basically said in my last video on how to improve your credit score and more, okay? What age do you need to be added onto someone's card as an authorized user? Most cards are 18 years and above, but if you're on American Express, you can add someone as young as 13. So like mothers, fathers, if you want to help your children get good credit before they're actually 18 and give them a head start in life, this is a good option to do. But do not do this option if your credit's not good and you're not good at managing your money. Like, just don't do it, because you're just gonna mess up everything for them before they even reach 18. Okay, so personally, I added my little sister as an authorized user on my credit card. I've got really good credit. I always manage my money. I've always kind of been good with that, always been financially savvy. Not all the time, but I've learned to. And I kind of want to help my sister, so when by the time she's 18, she can actually, you know what I mean, have access to, you know, good credit, good credit, if she needed a credit card or good loan or a mortgage or all those things. But it just kind of gives you a kickstart and a head start in life. Another question I'm always asked is, well, what if I'm good with my credit card and I'm good with money, but the person I'm adding on isn't so good? Okay, that's true. Because remember, I did say once you call up the bank and add someone as a card user, they send you another copy of a card to give to that person. So what I've done personally with my sister, because I know she's not at the age where she's going to be using my credit card responsibly, I obviously added her as an authorized user. When the card came, I actually have the card and I've actually cut it up. So her card it's not actually there. I'm basically using this just to help her build her credit. So really, I'm doing all the work. I'm still using my credit card as normal, and she just reaps the benefits. Hence why it's called piggybacking. She just literally piggybacks off my good my good credit. Obviously, when my sister gets to the age of 18 and then okay, she's gonna get responsible, you can actually now put limits on the card. So for one of the cards I've added it onto, I think the limit on that one's 8,000. So what I can do when she gets to the age of 18, hopefully that credit would have gone up, I can actually get her a card and give her a separate limit to what mine is. So my limit will be, for example, a limit of £8,000 I can use, and I could limit her card to £300. So that's another way to teach your children how to manage credit. You give them the card with a little limit and see how well they do with that. Teach them what it is to have credit, what it is to use a credit card, how to use the 30% limit, which I spoke about in my last video, and then gradually up the limit as she does well. So right now, as she's 13 to the age of 18, she's not allowed my card. She hasn't got access to it. But I do plan on, when she gets to 18, or 16 or before then, I'm gonna start teaching her how to use credit in a more savvy way. So another question, is there a limit to how many people you can add on as authorized users? With my current credit cards that I have, I know the limit for most of them is 3. So you can obviously check with the bank how many users you can add on, but I know with mine I can add 3 people. So what to look for when looking for someone to piggyback off? Okay, so if you're thinking, okay Mo, I think I want to use this method, I just need to find someone that will add me as an authorized user, what do I need to look for? That's a question I always get. The first thing you need to do, you need to look for someone, like I said before, that's reliable. Someone that's had a long credit card account that's been open for a long time. Okay, so if you find someone that's had a credit card for like 2 years, that's not really going to affect your score that much. If you find someone with an account and has good, excellent history for the past 10 years or more, that's gold. So my first thing would be to look for someone that has good credit and has had it for 10 years or more. I mean, if someone's had it for 3 years, 4 years, and that's all you can find, you're better off going with them than nothing at all. Another thing you need to do, guys, I should have probably mentioned this as number 1. If you do find someone that you want to use, you want to go on, you need to obviously ask the person to check with their bank if their credit history will actually show on your file. Certain banks will allow you to be added as an authorized user, but they won't actually have their credit history reflecting on yours. Make sure the person's called the bank and said, you know, if I add Mo or if I add John to my card, will this show on their credit file? If it's a no, don't bother doing it, because there's no point being added on if you can't actually get the added benefits. Another thing, guys, so as much as someone having good credit, like me, I have access to, I think, 4 credit cards now, but let's say I added you onto a credit card that I don't really use, that's not going to help your score. So you need to get someone to add you on their credit card that they use regularly. You need to have the card active, because if you don't have your card active, your limits are literally, your limits will be decreased, and on top of that, some accounts close down if they realize that you're not using it regularly. So if you're going to get added to someone else's card, make sure they actually use the card that they're adding you on. Under what circumstances will this have a negative effect? So I think I've mentioned this point briefly before, but it will have a negative effect if you go on someone's card and they decide they're not paying stuff on time, they're getting, you know, defaults and stuff like that, CCJs. All of this can trickle down to you. If you do anything bad with the credit, it has no negative effect on the person that's added you on. But if the person that's adding you on isn't responsible, it will affect your credit. This is why I stressed from the beginning point of my video is make sure the person you're being added onto, you can trust them. They've got a good history. They're very responsible. They pay on time. They do everything I said and more in the last video I did on how to improve your credit score. Then you can do it. Then you can avoid some of these negative effects. So yes, guys, so that's me for today. I hope you found this video useful. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Add me on Instagram, DM me your questions. And if there's any videos you guys want me to cover or anything you want me to touch upon or any videos you want me to do, just let me know.